Hello and welcome to the Star Citizen Ship Buyer's Guide for the Drake Caterpillar. The Dragonfly is on concept at time of recording until the 27th of June, but the Caterpillar is also available during that time. And you can grab it in a couple of different packages. You can grab 2 Dragonflies and a Caterpillar for $300. This is excluding taxes, obviously. The Caterpillar also has lifetime insurance in this package. You can also grab a Caterpillar Standalone for $245, though this only has 6 months insurance, though if you are going to purchase one like that, I suggest that you grab yourself an LTI Dragonfly and then upgrade it to the Caterpillar. You'll keep the lifetime insurance of the Dragonfly, but move on to the Caterpillar hull. So the old Caterpillar, the original concept for it was for a much smaller ship, comparable more to the Freelancer. In fact, it was referred to as the Freelancer's evil twin in the lore blurb, but more for boarding and piracy, with solid options as well for being an armoured cargo carrier as well, but obviously with that Drake vibe, which is always kind of comes with piracy, but also maybe militia. Even then, though, it was probably more comparable to a Constellation. It was pretty big, it had pretty similar kind of stats to a Constellation, but that was back when the Caterpillar was planned to only be 62.5 metres long. It has increased somewhat, so the Caterpillar has evolved. It's now more of the big evil brother of 2 conjoined Constellation Tauruses stuck together with the front of Endeavour module stuck on the side. It's got pretty big, and it's asymmetrical, and it's cool looking. The actual physical look of the ship is pretty similar, it's just increased in scale. And now it's believed to be 100 metres plus in size. It may go as large as 120, but I think it's going to be closer to the 100 metre mark. I think it's been hinted that that was a more accurate figure. So that's now at least the length of a Starfarer. That's pretty big. Like all Drake ships, the Caterpillar has versatility in its DNA, with multiple cargo bays available to be repurposed for a multitude of functions. The Caterpillar's modular design allows for it to be perfect for anything from armoured cargo hauls to effective search and rescues. And when paired with the new Dragonfly, the Caterpillar can add one more role to its already impressive roster, a mini carrier. That's right, the Caterpillar can launch Dragonflies directly from its cargo hold as protection fighters or agile scouts. Now, I love that blurb. That blurb really excites me about the Caterpillar for a number of reasons. Also, I mean, it's Drake, which means function over comfort. Utility, lots of hard points. They like to put lots of weapony hard points. Not necessarily you're going to be able to use them all, but they like to put those hard points there. It's going to be easy to access your components on a Drake ship. Easy and cheap to maintain. Simplistic. It's not maybe going to have the best systems or the best plugs or the best components in the way of power plants, coolers, avionics, shields, and that sort of stuff that it can fix, kind of. But think old, reliable tech, that's sort of fitting. Vital statistics-wise, we don't know too much about actual hard math and statistics for the Caterpillar at the moment. So that's items and hard points-wise, really. We know that it has 4 large body modules, which are all interchangeable in a similar way that we've seen the Retaliators modules. It also has 1 front module, which is apparently or possibly different from those other 4 body modules, an engine section, and also has that side command module. So the command module first. That's the main bridge and control center, basically, of the Caterpillar. But it's asymmetrical and it's detachable. It's its own little thing. It's basically a Freelancer with its wings cut off. That's what it looks like, well, at least size-wise. It has 2 floors, a living area, engineering, command, and bridge. And it's basically its own ship or escape pod. It can detach and reattach to the main body of the Caterpillar in space, like the cab section of the Endeavour can. I expect that you might want to do that for a variety of reasons. Attach that pod. You might go exploring planetside or a dense asteroid field or something. Hopefully you can actually store a Caterpillar in there as well. Not a Caterpillar, a Dragonfly in the Caterpillar in the command module. That would be absolutely awesome and would make sense if you're planetary landing with it. If the main body is used for boarding action, again, this is an assumption on my part, you might want to detach the command module for safety or for some other reason. And we'll talk more about boarding action later, because I feel that that is probably one of the major roles of this ship. It's a perfect escape pod, though, that command module. In fact, it looks pretty similar in function at least, to the Endeavour's front section. So exploration, safety, escape, utility, and command kind of deal there. The main body though, so the Caterpillar's main body has the main engine room on it. It has 4 body modules and that front module attached as well. So these modules are what gives the Caterpillar its name, but also its strength. The Caterpillar is going to be incredibly modular and outfittable too for so many roles and situations. Now, we don't know all of the modules that we're able to get. In fact, we don't know very many of them, but we'll go ahead and try and name some. There was some hints given. We've seen some of the older stuff that they were working on. We know that the current version that we're buying, and that all Caterpillars that have currently been sold as of the 20th of June, at time of recording, are the cargo variant. So they're all going to have cargo modules outfitted there. But I would expect there will be a huge range of other modules as well. We saw the Caterpillar in white boxing a little while ago, and some of the internal white boxing that was redone again recently, and there was lots of possibilities there. Obviously the cargo, we know that they're working on the habitation module. In fact, we've seen some of the habitation module and the cargo and the engine room as well in a recent video. I'm sure that will be plastered all over this video. Also, there was talks of an armory, somewhere to store all your weapons for FPS stuff, if you're going to be having lots of crew aboard for boarding actions, for that sort of stuff. There's also going to be probably personnel and crew and barracks kind of modules as well, if you want to be able to store more people in there. A medical bay for search and rescue. Now, let me just reiterate, this is all stuff I'm assuming, all stuff that's very likely. So that will be for people that want to do search and rescue, but also have a large crew. They want a medical bay there. The workshop was referred to a while ago, and that was for outfitting and as a shop. Literally, they were talking about using that as somewhere to set up shop and sell stuff to passing ships or whatever. There was also talk of a chop shop. I do expect that one of the major roles of the ship will be for salvage. You're going to be relatively good at just floating around, being a pirate. And salvage kind of feels like, if piracy goes wrong and you don't capture the ship, at least you can salvage it. There was also, in the older kind of videos, what looks like an EVA quick troop launcher. I would expect this, if they still allow it or still have it or still developing it, will jettison Marines or the big exosuits when we get them for boarding and assaults, literally just dropping them out or jetting them out of the ship so that they can jump over to another one. We've also seen multiple docking collars for the ship. They literally 4 ships basically attached by a docking collar. Now, this was all stuff that might have been changed, removed, reiterated upon, or just totally canned. So we'll have to see. There was lots of stuff that will obviously be using the tractor beam. I expect that if you have salvage or cargo modules, that you're going to be using the tractor beam a lot to grab cargo, to chuck cargo, whatever. All the modules as well, they open up. The side modules, they open up on the side, so you could stick guns out them if you wanted, literally FPS guns, or you could send... if you've got lots of the Dragonflys aboard, you can send them out there. I think that's the idea there, for easy loading and unloading of cargo, but also easy access to various modules when you land. And yeah, I mean, one of the other things that this thing might be able to do is be quite a powerful base. If you land planetside with it, you could use it as a little mini base planetside while you go exploring. You might want it as a mini pirate base on a planet, as your command headquarters. I do expect that there might be weapons modules as well. The weapons-wise, it's going to be reasonably well armed, but I expect that you might be able to get some extra torpedo modules in the same way that Retaliator has torpedoes, or missile modules, or turret modules, literally, that just have more turrets or guns on. I think that would be pretty powerful. I think that would be pretty useful for the Caterpillar. I do hope they include that. We also might see modules for mining, although that might be on the front. We'll talk about that in a second, but possibly E-War as well. Now, I'm not entirely sure if it will have an E-War module. I'm not sure if it's even appropriate, but some form of tracking, E-War-esque, mapping, something like that might be good. Some form of exploration-y module as well. That might be something that they put in there. But the front module, now, I've kind of had rumours, and they've kind of hinted that it might be modular, so you might be able to change the front out for a couple of other purposes. So it will have like its own more unique modules. And I suppose the most obvious thing that this would be used for is ramming and boarding. It looks to me like it's a ramming ship, that you'd ram into a ship, cut a hole in it, and then open the doors, and then you board another ship. But I expect that if you can change the front module, it will be for stuff like salvage, repair, mining, stuff like that you might need the front of the ship for. So I do expect there's quite a lot of possibility here. And in fact, probably the most possibility of any other ship. And yeah, let's talk about its roles. In fact, this is the most moddable ship I've seen to date. And it's Drake. It's supposed to be really utilitarian. It's the Caterpillar. It's supposed to be super modular. But roles-wise, we're going to see people using this in piracy a lot. As pirate bases, as little pirate carriers. It is the epitome of the pocket carrier to me as well. I mean, they literally said you might be able to have up to 8 or more, in fact, Dragonflys in the modules here that you can just quickly scramble out to have as agile scouts or fighters. I really love that. I like the idea of a pocket carrier, and I like the idea that it's Drake. Obviously, it's going to do really well as an armoured cargo transport. In combat, I mean, we're not really sure of its combat potential yet. So it's either going to be really good if you outfit it for combat, or it might be really weak. We need to wait and see for that, unfortunately. It might be a great command, like a CNC kind of base if we have the right modules. Search and rescue is definitely going to be one of the things for it. Salvage, boarding and assault. So, I mean, it's going to be super dependent on its modules, and there are going to be loads of roles that you can literally make by putting different modules on. It's going to be significantly more modular than we've seen from like the Endeavour and that sort of stuff. And it's going to be able to do loads of different roles, even possibly just by changing modules around. It's going to have a totally different role in that ship. But weakness-wise, it's not a dogfighter. It's going to be vulnerable to fighters, bombers, and torpedo bombers, unless it has suitable escorts. So that might be expensive. It's a long ship. It's not going to be the most agile thing in the world. And normally it's Drake, so it's got a lot lower tech-wise than you'd expect. It hasn't got all the modern, cool little functions, bells and whistles that might save you. Better shields, better power efficiency, that sort of stuff. You might light up like a Christmas tree as well. That's one of my worries with Drake. They're not going to have very good coolers. So you're going to be seen for millions of miles away on radars and that sort of stuff. But you also need to buy the modules and fit them. The ship, as it is, the cargo ship, yeah, that's pretty cheap in my opinion for the size of it. But when you factor in all those expensive modules and you have to fit them, it could be very expensive. And there's also a stigma that comes with the Drake ships, especially probably the Caterpillar, which people would just assume you're a pilot or up to no good. So you need to bear that in mind. You might have people just running away from you, although you might quite well be a pirate, so maybe they've done that because they know you're a pirate. It also needs manpower to be effective, or woman power, people power. It needs people power to be effective. So it does. I mean, this ship is really modular, but I think it's going to be very hard for one person or a couple of people to run. To make most use of it, you're going to need a load of NPCs or a big crew. So the length of the ship obviously is going to hamper its agility. It's probably not going to have the best speed, especially when fully laden with cargo. This ship is going to suffer massively with mass kind of bloating when it's fully laden. So just bear that in mind. I suppose I've started a rant, so I might as well continue. I'm always pretty hyped about ships. I like 99% of them. I really do. I think they have some sort of role in the verse. It's quite easy for me to get excited about cool artwork and that sort of thing. I think the only ships I don't really like are totally pointless ships. Ships that I feel don't have a place in the verse or are unnecessary, like the Aurora ES, the Aurora LX, and the Aurora CL, possibly even the Hull A's. That kind of annoys me because it's such a low-tier transport, and I feel that it might just 99% of people will just totally bypass it, but I suppose it might have lots of other uses I haven't foreseen, so I'm kind of holding off my judgment on that. But I was trying to make a point that I started talking about ships. Oh, ships that I don't personally see a point in. Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of Drake, and was upset when I found out the Polaris Corvette was going to be manufactured by RSI. I wanted a Drake Corvette. The Drake Caterpillar is probably the most close to a Drake Corvette that we're going to be able to get. Yeah, at a probably significantly cheaper price than a Corvette's going to run us at the moment anyway. So it's likely to be the last time as well that this ship, the Caterpillar, goes on sale before it becomes hangar ready. Now that's just an assumption, but it's probably quite an educated assumption. Just be aware that might be the last time it's on sale, and it might get a big price hike when it goes hangar ready. We saw the Starfarer jump from $195 up to $300 to buy, so just bear that in mind. Being able to launch loads of Dragonflies, being a pocket carrier, I've wanted this so long in a ship. I mean, everyone was talking about pocket carriers. We always get threads about them and that sort of stuff. But those pocket carriers, this is a true one. This is a big biker gang pocket carrier with loads of agile little wasps that fly around. And it's got those 4 giant interchangeable modules. I love modularity. I love perusing modules and trying to choose exactly how I want them to be fitted. I love that kind of theory craft going, well, if I put this here and then move them around, that's more efficient, that sort of stuff. Obviously, as I said, the versions that we're currently buying are the cargo variants that come with 4 cargo modules and some form of module in the front. I'm not exactly sure what that front module will be. So I expect those cargo modules, though, are perfect for Dragonflies, as well as cargo in unison. Imagine loading up the Caterpillar with a trio of Dragonflies, flying close support and retrieval for a Cutlass Red ambulance, or strafing a massive cargo ship. It's all possible with the 2947 Drake lineup. Again, damn that blurb. Jump points. So, yeah, it's not going to be able to use small jump points. The ship's huge. I'm not sure what the constraints on medium and large jump points are now going to be. Obviously, it will be able to use large jump points. Medium, they might balance them out so that, like, something like the Drake might, the Caterpillar might be the largest ship that can use one, or it might be far, far too big for one. So I have to kind of wait and see, but expect just to use large jump points, and we'll see if you can use the medium ones as well, maybe in the future. We'll find out. I'll annotate this in the future once we find out. So, yeah, I mean, it's huge. It's a really, really big ship. I think the loaner for it's going to be the Constellation Andromeda, which is significantly smaller than the ship. I mean, cargo capacity-wise, I think it's over twice that of the Taurus. So, people thinking about purchasing them and alternatives to them, Constellations are very similar price-wise, but at the moment, I think you're getting a lot more with the Caterpillar. That said, Constellations are kind of pre-fitted for more specific roles and come with lots of little extras, additions, bells and whistles. And I suppose, to be fair, we should really compare the Caterpillar, when we compare it to Constellations, to the Constellation Taurus. They're both basically sold currently as the stripped-down cargo versions of themselves. So, $150 for the Taurus, $245 for the Caterpillar. The Taurus certainly does have merits in value, but the Caterpillar is huge now. It's going to probably be the most versatile ship available, and it's going to be so powerful and so focused for people that are sensibly fitting it. The Polaris Corvette is obviously another alternative. Maybe. We don't know enough about the Polaris Corvette, really. It's an alternative to me in my head for theorycraft. All we know really about the Polaris Corvette is that it's a small Corvette, which is replacing what the Idris was originally going to be, made by RSI, and it's chunky, but also kind of sleek. The Caterpillar, though, is both great choices for captains that know they want a Caterpillar for a specific purpose, but also for captains that want a large multi-crew ship but don't know what mechanics interested them, or are interested in loads of mechanics. That modularity kind of lends itself to really specific tasks, but also players that are a bit ambiguous with what they want. They want to do a bit of everything. It's going to be a lot easier to run than an Idris or something like that as well, and it ticks a load of the same boxes for me. Remember, you can grab a lifetime insurance Dragonfly and then upgrade it to the Caterpillar. That will get you some hangar flare and that lifetime insurance token effectively as well. But you will get a self-land hangar rather than the VFG Industrial Hangar doing that. And yeah, check out the Caterpillar, which is currently on sale until the 27th of June. And yeah, maybe purchase one, maybe don't. You can get all these ships in game, you see. So unless you've got the spare money lying around, unless you've already got some store credit in, it might be in a lot of situations just better to wait until the game comes out. You don't need anything other than a game package. And then just think, you getting a Caterpillar in game and not having to spend $245, how good would you feel? $245 better off. But you have the spare capital, you have the spare monies. I mean, spaceships are cool. But it should really be seen as a pledge to help fund the game. If you want to support the game, then do it. But for me, these kind of sales and these concept sales are very much more about Do you want to see more ships and more concept sales? If you do, then buy concept ships. That's the kind of the idea behind them, in my opinion. That's the way it feels to me. And for me, I love this extra kind of fluff and extra ships they're putting in the verse. And the Caterpillar now, that's kind of expanded its role, it's not going to be irrelevant. Because previously there were other ships that did lots of similar stuff to it, but now it's increased in size, now it's become super modular. It's really got its place in the verse. Anyway, apologies for my kind of rant on Drake ships. I really love Drake. I think they're my favourite manufacturer, and then a little bit of the dynamics after that, I think. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We also have a Buccaneer giveaway throughout June. Just comment on any of our Star Citizen videos to win for a chance to win that on the YouTubes, on my channel, so I can actually see you comment on that. That would be good. I don't know if they're going to be embedded elsewhere. Yeah, and check out the sale. Even if you're not going to buy one, it's great to see the progress that the Caterpillar and the Dragonflies and all that sort of stuff have made. They're quite exciting, in my opinion, even if they're not adding huge, giant new mechanics. And if you follow the news quite closely, it's almost suggested that we're going to see the Caterpillar pretty soon. We've seen so much artwork and so many videos of it recently, and it's kind of hinted that it's going to be a ship that will be available in the hangar relatively soon, or sooner than we think. And I would hope within the next 2 patches. That would be absolutely great if we get it for 2.6. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the verse.